Welcome inside Elliot's Loft. It's the home of When Black Men Talk, the podcast that is known for provocative, informative dialogue rooted in self-evaluation, empathy, and humility. I just happen to be the host, Mark Elliott. Appreciate you giving me an ear. Love. Think about it. Love. Love. I wonder sometimes, has love gone out of style, like fashion? Maybe it goes out sometimes and it recycles itself and comes back a little differently. When I think about it, I say, yeah, because there are times when we just don't feel great about love for whatever reason. But what about love by any means necessary? Dicey. Real dicey. For some, love ignites false hope, the belief in unrealistic outcomes, unrealistic expectations. And with that, they start to believe in dramatic and drastic results, ignoring reality, ignoring facts in the pursuit of idolized desired outcomes. Now, when I kind of roll this through my mind and really put it all together, this is the backbone of dating or having a long-term relationship with a married man or a married woman. I want to welcome back to the podcast host of The Realist Lounge, Shannon. How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you so much for having me. And hi to all of your amazing listeners. I'm grateful to be here today, Mark.
I'm grateful to have you back. You was on earlier in another episode about correction and the unfiltered perspective that you gave, the boldness. Come on, how could I not have you back? Realistically, how could I not have you back? I want to start here because we're going to talk about, single men and single women dating married men and married women. And I wonder, I'll throw the question, I'll take the men's side with this question. But if you look at women, what empowers them to date a married man?
I think that it is, it's kind of hard to put your finger on it, but I think it has a lot to do with the chase. We're living in a time right now where women are actually the hunters as opposed to the men. And I think that when it comes to women who date married men, it's like an adrenaline rush. The act of getting caught is no different than you being somebody who possibly steals a piece of candy, back in the day. And it's just the thrill of knowing that you did something sneaking, that you were sneaking to do something. And then on top of that, this like you're not really committed to that person. So it's really just a physical thing or a sexual thing. And unfortunately, it could become dangerous if people don't know their place in the situation. But I think it definitely has a lot to do with just people just being in the thrill of doing something damn well you're not supposed to.
Yeah, the forbidden drill. I understand that. And you're right, they can come dangerous because a lot of times we don't stay in our place. We just don't. We kind of may start out there. We have the idea that we're going to stay in our place, but it kind of moves away from there in a sense, and it becomes real messy. And I've always said this, there's a right way to even do wrong. And I know people can question that, but there's a right way. If you're going to do wrong, there's a right way to do it if you tend to want to do wrong. I think for single men, I think it's always been the thing for single men. It's basically having, access to sex without commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, because she can't really give you a commitment. She could try if she wants to, but she could only give you so much of a commitment. And you want the companionship and you want the sex, the availability. I don't think many men look to date married women or mess with married women based on they want to pull her out of the household or they want them for herself. And what I find interesting, some with married men, not married men, married women, they don't think that. They think if he's showing me interest that I may not be getting at home, if he's doing all this, he's showing me if I'm with him, I'll have that. And basically, if you decide to come out the door, he has no more interest in you. He really doesn't, because you changed up the whole game plan. So it starts out sometimes simple. And, men are men. Men are going to say some things to flatter. We realize words flatter, they go a long way. You could be on E and I'll give you some few words if you back up to 4 in no time at all. So we're going to come with some articulate words and say some things to flatter. And most of the time, those are lies. You know, if you weren't there, you're this type of woman. If I had you, all those things are going to be said to maintain what's going on. And a lot of times that starts to build emotions, thinking that this fantasy can become reality. And a lot of times it can't be. And I think, too, when I look at single people looking at married people, for me, I knew this when I was young, Shannon. For some reason, women are attracted to men that are with someone.
Thanks. Yes. 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 It's and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, please go. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like for instance, it's like you are on a diet, right? And you know that there's certain things in your diet that you can't have. But you see a nice big piece of cake and you know you can't have it. But once you indulge in it, you're not thinking about the fact that you just threw your whole diet out the window. You're just indulging in something in something that you were tempted to get, and it tastes so good around that time until you think about it like later. You be like, damn man, I just really messed my entire diet up. So it's like it's just an act of wanting something that you know you are not supposed to have, or that you know possibly belongs to someone else. It's the weirdest thing. And my man right now, my man tells me this, that he notices that like women seem to gravitate towards men who are with someone else. It's really strange because I don't think it really happens it don't happen to women as much. We don't go through that. Like once we literally let somebody know, hey, I'm in a relationship, most men, if they're respectful, they'll leave you be. Because I've had to tell men before, you know, hey, I'm in a relationship or I'm with someone, and I don't get hit on again. But when it comes to men, women like men who are with someone else. It doesn't matter if you're in a whole relationship on your profile. They'll still be in your inbox.
Yeah, it's always been that way. It's almost like, the mentality, let me see if I could pull him out of there. Yeah. Let me see if I can lure him and get him away. It's amazing. You're single or you're not with someone. You can go to, when I was younger, you can go to a club, whatever the case may be. And if you're with someone, they're giving you all type of attention. When I say attention that you would give, you were single. And that you wouldn't give you came there, you were single.
It's the truth.
I've been at places where I'm standing. I can go back. One just popped in my head. I was at this concert spot in New York years ago, and I was married at the time. It's Rochelle Farrell. I want to see for Rochelle Farrell. And this spot, you had to stand up. So I'm standing. The wife is on the left side. This woman is on the wife is on the left side. The woman's on the right side. But when I tell you, she did everything, but basically walked around and gave me a kiss to get my attention.
Wow.
She would bang her leg up against me, stare at me, hit my hand, anything to basically get me to pull my attention away. And, eventually I walked away and moved to a different location. But to me, how more bolder can you be? Realistically, what can you do? But if I was there by myself, that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened.
And what's crazy is that I commend your wife, you know what I mean, I don't know if she recognized that it was happening, but like, I commend her because, in many instances, like, depending on what type of woman that you may have, that could have been that could be a violent situation that could take place. Like, we're not going to act as if there ain't women out there to be like, excuse me, ma'am. I'm going to need you to back the hell off. Back off of my man. Like, I don't have to worry about that. And I'm grateful that I got a partner that will let it be known, hey, listen, I'm with someone. I'm in a relationship. Like, a lot of people don't really have that blessing. And I don't have to react when it comes to women because I got a man that lets me know that, you're safe and you don't have to worry about any other female trying to take your place or trying to take me away. I look at it like this. If you could take my man away from me, then he was never mine to begin with. I'm not going to fight with you over it. I try to carry myself in a way to where I'm respectful and I don't like to fight. I'm too old to fight and I'm too sexy for jail, like Right said Fred. So I'm not going to fight over anyone. I don't have to. So it's very important that that men are in control of that situation just as much as their partners. That they let it be known, like, listen, this is not for you. This is already with some for somebody else. So I'm gonna need you to back the hell off, LaQuisha or Karen or whichever one, whoever you go by, because it can get real ugly for you if you don't.
Yeah, it's amazing that you're right. It can really spin into something that really gets out of control. But here again, as it lies the foundation from that perspective, they just don't care. They really don't care. And if
Mm-mm.
a man, and I'm happy for what you have, and I'm happy to hear that. And in reality, that's kind of rare what you have. I will say that because a lot of men will play into it. So I'm grateful that you have that. And that's part of the reason why I think women do it. They're testing you to see, are you going to play in?
Absolutely. And don't
Are
let you
you?
be a heavy set girl. That and you got like me. I'm a thicker girl, and my man is he. I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta find one. You fine. So it's like they just be thinking that just because you a little heavy, you on the heavy side, and you may have the shape of Beyonce or Megan Thee Stallion, and you think that like that's supposed to just grab your attention from that's supposed to grab the attention that I have because I look a certain way. Like don't get it twisted. Like the BBWs are winning nowadays. Okay,
They've
don't
always
ever
been
get
winning in
it
my.
twisted. All right.
They've always been winning in my world. Let me just make
Listen,
that
don't
perfectly
nobody want a
clear.
bone but a dog is what I don't nobody want a bone but a dog. That's what I was always told. Okay. There's a lot of chubby chasers out there. You know what I mean? Like they got a whole website for
Oh my
it.
goodness.
Don't ever get it twisted, ladies. I'm talking to you fit ladies.
Oh my.
Okay.
Here's another thing I think that kind of lure women to a married man that may have a tough time finding a man of her own. She looks at him being stable, employed,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is one thing they look at when a man is with someone, he could be married or dating someone in a relationship. They look at that if he's committed to her, like you spoke about the BBW. But even if they don't even get into all of that, the mere fact that he's stable, employed, and he's committed, they want those qualities for themselves. And being that that's not coming their way, that would be a motivating factor to basically try to pull him outside or pull him away from her. Your thoughts?
I just don't understand the point of it, me personally, because I'm too old to be eating off somebody else's plate, and I just kind of feel like it's an insecure thing within themselves because if you probably aren't the one that you're probably not a kept woman and probably never have been. And then you also got to look at the fact that there's women out here who have possibly been kept and those relationships failed. So now they are on this quest to ruin someone else's relationship. It's women out there that's like that. So it just really comes with the character of a woman, the character of that particular woman on whether or not she respects the union, or is she just insecure enough to thinking, oh well, she don't deserve to have no good man. She don't deserve to have that type of man. So guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and use my P power to get the attention from her onto me.
Yeah. Now, men approach that a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care, if you're stable. They don't care if you're
No, they don't.
committed. No. That here again, it's not necessarily the drive. If they look at her and they find her attractive, realistically, they'll run the game. Are you happy? Like that's the reason why you should have sex with them.
Yeah,
And if
like having sex with you is gonna make me happier than
there
what
it
I'm going
is.
through with my relationship.
Yes, and they'll run that game. Are you happy? Because let's get real. Who's happy all the time in any relationship? So they're hoping to catch you at a moment of time where you're not happy, and that opens the door to basically go into your head and make you believe and make you start to second guess. If I was with him, I would be happier. And to me, it takes a strong woman to resist that. a very strong woman, confident in who she is at first, and then really secure in her relationship. And a lot of times they're not confident who they are.
This is true.
And anyone that basically runs up and run that particular game on them, their head starts to think. And that's what he's hoping. You start to think. So the next time you experience something with the person that you're with, you start thinking, well, if I was with that grass that walked up to me, that found me so stimulating, that things would be different. And that's how a lot of times married women get caught up in that situation, because the words again that he spoke, that simpleness, are you happy? Got your mind thinking. And to me, and you spoke of this about your relationship, when the relationship is solid and built on a sound foundation, no one should be able to enter. If you decide to walk away, but you should not be walking away based on some idiot approaching you, male or female, trying to basically take down what you two have built.
Absolutely. It's that's what I mean. It's all about security, and whether or not you're secure within yourself. Like, a lot of people hop into relationships without being secure within themselves first. I as I got older, I realized that, like, my first love was me. And how I loved myself is how whoever I decide to be with is going to love me as well. And a part of that also has to be with respecting my union and respecting my partner, whether I'm in front of him or whether I'm behind him, whether he pisses me off or whether I'm just in this happy go lucky in love spirit. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that I respect myself enough to not even allow any type of attachment outside of myself to make me ruin what I've built or ruin what we've built together. And then on top of that, we got to think about that people carry spirits with them. People carry energies, and whatever you may think may be perceived as being better than what you already have could actually be the one thing that may ruin you. I'm talking about, like, you know how they say it's cheaper to keep her in many ways. So just by you being in a state of mind where you may have a fracture in your relationship that you feel as if you could kind of fix by dealing with somebody else, you may actually ruin your relationship or your life just by you falling for the trap.
Yeah, I love that. And that is so dead on. You're right. It really is. It's a spirit that, again, it's masked in a different way, in an attractive way, but that doesn't mean it's not a spirit. You spoke of I might have said about the forbiddenness of it, that kind of is intoxicating to an extent. I think there's another section of this, and we'll look at it from a male and female perspective. There's a level of competition that I believe goes along with this. Excuse me. When I say that, meaning that a lot of times when someone decides to move into a situation and become a triangle, a woman or a man, I'm going to speak from a woman's point, she looks at herself better than what he's with. And she believes that I am better. He deserves to be with me because I'm better than her. It could be shape, it could be look, it could be whatever the case may be. But in her head, she starts to think, I'm better suited for him. And that's kind of an ego boost that she will find intoxicating as well. And in reality, she starts to act on that. And reality also, what I've seen over the years, women are very competitive with other women without saying a word. They're just, you know what I mean? For the most part, men, when it comes down to competition, we don't care. We just don't care. We ain't trying. We're self-confident enough to where we're not concerned with you. We're not competing, trying to outdo you, outlast you, whatever the case may be. But I think that plays a part when it comes down to basically a woman stepping into a situation where he's a married man, feeling that, she's not all about that. She's not that. And if he starts to basically give her any indication that she's right, wow, the field is open. Your reaction?
Well, I always say, listen, if you ain't making gravy from scratch, girl, bye. Okay.
Okay.
Wait till a man's stomach, wait till a man's heart is
but wait a minute. Hang on. We're going to back this up a little bit because
If you ain't listen, I make cakes from scratch, sis. You ain't talking about nothing. I got a man that like to eat, and I feed him well.
Wait a minute, because you just said something that should be on T-shirts and be worn all around the country. That grandma's been saying, and for some reason, their granddaughters, the great granddaughters, they lost track of that. Mm-hmm. So, if you don't mind, just go back and read that. The way to a what?
A way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Oh my!
If you could feed him, and in that food is love, and you're excited to feed this man this meal. It is delicious and it's from scratch. What? It's just something because those ingredients are like the way you put it together, the way you present it to him. It's going to automatically show him that you actually really care, that you took the time to build this amazing dish for this man. And if it's good, we got to also look at our chakras. Right in our stomach, that is where the indulgence come from. That's where our sexual organs are. That's where our desires, our creativity is. And you're feeding that. Because that's creativity that you created when you made that gravy from scratch, when you made that cake from scratch, when you baked that dish and it took time and you let it marinate slowly. You're feeding into that sacral chakra, that creativity, that love, that nurturing that's right there in the pit of your stomach. So if you can't feed that, you're not talking about nothing for me. Nothing. Let me tell you some funny story. My man was married before me for 19 years. His ex was Hispanic. Okay. So I knew that he probably ate a lot of his, Mexican food. And I never really cooked Mexican food. I bought it, but I never really cooked it. And I was just like, it's kind of like the competition thing, but not really. So I learned how to cook Mexican food. I learned how to cook Puerto Rican rice. And he calls me Consuela Jones now because there's really nothing that I can't cook. It's because I knew that this was something that he was used to for a long period of time. And I wanted to make sure that he still got that Mexican dish, that he still got the Puerto Rican rice as well as the fried chicken and the macaroni and cheese. So it all comes down to, what are you really willing to put into these dishes that you are feeding these men? And are you understanding that how some people's love language is food?
I want to spend a little time here because I was getting ready to shut the show down because there's nothing we can say after that. Realistically, it's like unplug the cords, all this stuff, wrap it up, let the team come in and shut this all down. But I wanted to stay here for a second because the modern day woman, that's the first thing that she yells out of her mouth. I'm not cooking. I don't want to cook. We can eat out. Where are you taking me? And they don't even realize, in my opinion, when they're saying that, you're telling him, just like you stated, you don't know how to get me. You don't even care about me. It's nothing to do with me. So initially, when he hears this, he's determining in his mind, what am I going to do with you? Are you going to be a sex toy? You're not going to be a woman I'm going to take serious. If he's any strong mental man, he's not taking you serious. Mm-hmm. And these men crack me up when they say that, oh, I'll do all the cooking, dumbass.
Yeah, right.
Yes, they crack me up. I don't know where I'll do all the cooking. You ain't got to. And then a few months later, you're mad when she ain't cooking anything. Or a couple of years later, you might have been dumb enough to marry that whatever you want to call her. Now you're upset because she told you up front. But my thing is, why do they think that is a way to a man? And that's like the first thing they want to stand up and yell and scream, I ain't this, I'm not doing that. Cool. Just drop your clothes off from time to time and you come over and that's it. And they don't realize when they say that, that's what you're setting yourself up. Not for a great relationship, which is absolutely asinine.
It is. It really is. Like, I think one of the blessings that I was able to have coming up, even with not having my biological father in my life is my mom she did get married when I was 10. So I did have the opportunity of seeing how a woman is supposed to cater to her man, and seeing how a wife is supposed to treat her husband. I did have, and my mama worked a job and took care of us 2 kids, well 3, when she had my sister. But she made sure every time that she went to work, she cooked. When my pops was working late night, he worked for Cargill, and she had his lunch pack. She made sure that we stayed quiet if he was sleeping. If we even woke him up, we got in trouble. Like, she didn't play about her husband. She didn't play about her man. And they still married 30 something years later. So I learned, I think a lot of these women nowadays, they don't know. They say that they want a real man, but do you even know what a real man is? And how could you want something real from a man if either you never knew, you never saw what it was, you don't know what it is, and then you also are not real within yourself? Any woman, I told my man the other day, I said, any woman that says that she can't cook, it's not that she can't, it's because she don't want to. You should be, if you know how to read, you could follow a recipe. I've never made snickerdoodles in my life. Guess what? My man wanted some snickerdoodles. Guess what? I found out, get the eggs, the butter, the flour, and everything that needs to be made, and I made them. And they came out great. So I think that it just comes down to a lot of women have no idea what they want, and they have no idea what a real man is because they never had a representation of one.
You leave me speechless, but you're so right. You're right. And a lot of that's been passed on to them, in my opinion, where don't do this, don't do that, from hurt relatives. They're either their mother, their auntie, it could be some of their friends, that they get together and they have these hurt, basically feeling parties. Mm-hmm. And they establish in their mind, I'm no longer going to do this, blah, 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 blah. And now you're walking around looking like an idiot, speaking that garbage. But yet you want a man to yourself. You want to have a real relationship. You don't even understand what goes into a real relationship, not familiar with. And that's part of the reason why some of them are chasing married men.
Yeah.
Because they kind of believe that he's an easy ploy. He's already committed. I'm better than her. If I can have her, I can have him. He will be there and be with me. And this is another part about that is real delusional. Mm-hmm. To me, I don't understand this part of delusional. I do, but I'll say I don't. Because when they basically, a man or a woman, when you are playing with a married woman or a married man, are you expecting a long-term relationship with that person? You know what? And that's the thing. That's the delusional part. So you want to basically have someone break their commitment with the person that they're with. But yet when they get to you, they're going to understand what commitment is. They're going to live by it. They're going to swear to it and honor it. You're just that good of a person. When they get to you, that's what's going to take place. That's the delusional part. Because the way you get the person is probably going to the way you're going to lose them. So that, to me, is unbelievable. In reality, a lot of times when this is going on, these couples they're making plans. He's married, they're making plans. When I get divorced, we're going to do, realistic TV plans. And people buy into it.
They don't be thinking about the outcome, because if let's say that you are dealing with somebody who's married, right? And you have it in your mind that he's going to treat you differently than what he's doing his wife, and he may at one point, but best believe, depending on what type of woman that he was dealing with, the moment that divorce go through, she taking all the money, she taking the house, the cars, the kids, and filing for possibly child support. So you're not even going to be able to even get that man's full attention, depending on and he may still be in love with his wife. There's been situations, I watch a lot of crime documentaries, I love them, but there's been situations to where the husband will leave the wife to be with the side piece and then still be cheating on the side piece with the ex-wife. Right, my man in the back said, the same way you get them, same way you lose them. And you know, back in the day, like, and then we also got to look at it, Mark. Back in the day, women used to shut the hell up. Like, these women talk too much. They want to they want to put everything, like, women don't know how to be side pieces no more. Because they're looking for outside validation. So they got to post online the conversations that they have while they calling the wife. They got to post online about all of these things that they find some type of excitement in ruining somebody's relationship, that they got to post it online to get reactions from other side bitches that have no idea what it means to keep a good man. So you got all the side bitches crowding around this one side bitch, and they all celebrating on the fact that you just ruined somebody's marriage. They don't know how to shut up. It's not like Fences anymore. You know, you remember the movie Fences with Denzel Washington?
Yes.
He had a whole nother family up the street around the corner. His wife didn't know until he brought the baby home.
Yeah, whoa.
Y'all, you women talk too much. Y'all don't know how to shut up and be side pieces. Back in the day, our grandfathers probably had 7, 8, 9 kids somewhere. We never knew about it until the funeral.
Oh my. You're right about not knowing how to shut up. They just don't. You're definitely right. And it's interesting enough with Fences. I saw that play before it became a movie here in Connecticut. The guy, August Wilson, used to do his plays, and he would bring them to Yale before he kind of took them to Broadway. And that was one of his plays, Fences. And the ironic thing about Fences, and I'm sure this probably didn't go well for folks that didn't see the movie, or if you saw the movie, might not like this part. But in reality, the kid that he made outside of the home, when he told about it, the wife had a choice. She had a choice to leave. She had a choice to basically do whatever, stay, be angry. But shortly after, he passed. And who raised the child?
She was a fool too. I'm sorry. I'm saying this because, but see, back then, I think it was also a little bit different, because back then the wives were to maintain the house. They didn't have to work. They didn't have a job. They didn't have. I don't even think that you as a woman could even have a bank account back then. So, like, all of the finances, everything, all the responsibilities of what it meant to keep the house in order, that was the men's responsibility. So they the ones that left the house to go do whatever it was that they was doing, and then came back home. Ain't no telling what they was out there doing, but aside from just working, they possibly had another family somewhere else. So she was completely blindsided, because her entire existence at that time was to be a wife and a mother.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not like that anymore, because now women are working jobs. They're getting all their degrees. They don't have that same, experience that a lot of our grandparents or great grandparents had as women, as wives. So they feel as if, shoot, like, I could do the same thing, or, if you even think about it, you could go. I don't need you. I got my degrees. My degrees is gonna keep me warm at night now.
Yeah. Now, in the play, in the movie, the child's mother died.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that's part of the reason why he told her, if I'm not mistaken. But the mother died, and the baby, at that point, when he passed, she was left to raise the child. And I guess in modern day, that wouldn't happen. Mm-mm. But a part of me goes, that child needs to be raised.
Yeah, this is true. That's the soft part of it, because you're right. Nowadays, that wouldn't happen. Nowadays, these women are so, a lot of these women are so evil. They will probably harm that child, or put that child up for adoption in a New York minute.
Yeah. And it's funny, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to listen, or women will listen and go, yeah, I get it. And, and they'll probably, man ain't going to do that. Not so fast. I met a woman years ago that it was totally kind of opposite. She was, her mother had her at a young age, and didn't never really told the father, but she started with this guy slightly older than her. And her mother was kind of out there. Well, this man didn't have any other kids, but this man basically took the child from the woman when she wanted to go into the streets and raised her as his own. And basically, throughout her life, he was her father. And it wasn't until she didn't know. She did not know this. She was in her, I think at the time, she was in her 50s. And she went on the registry to basically find out more about her family. And her father, the guy that raised her, told her that he wasn't, but he cared for her throughout her life till she became an adult and still, stayed in contact with her as a dad would and loved her as a child. She goes on one of those sites, and who's waiting up there for her? Her real dad. So that's when I say not so fast, because a lot of times and I'm not saying the woman should raise him. He went out there, man. I'm not trying to stand on that, but at the end of the day, for our children, we need to do right by our children. No matter how they get here, we should do right by them. And my point is that man could have left that child for dead.
Yeah.
For dead. And she grew to be this good woman. And he basically went where he went, he went. And back then, ironically, when a man would take the honor of raising a child on his own, whether it's his child or not, he was highly respected. He was looked at a certain way, and people actually wanted to help. If you're a man now raising a child on your own, it could be your child. It could be a child you picked up at the Piggly Wiggly, Stop and Shop, anywhere. Women and most people think you're crazy. And it could be your child. Fathers aren't looked upon as being respectful anymore. They don't, I don't know if they ever did, but they rather you be harmful to that child and be more loving to them. And that's a fact that doesn't get talked about a lot. And there's a lot of bad dads out there. Granted, there's a bunch of them. Men walk away from their children every day. But for the ones that do the right thing, they catch hell. Yeah. Just being a dad, catch hell. I mean, you're not basically welcome anywhere. And in reality, the world believes as a father, shut the fuck up and let me take control. Oh, yeah. No matter where you walk into as a dad. And until you knock and let them know, you're not looking at me that way. Yeah. And that's how life is for most fathers.
Yeah. And it's not okay, because fathers are very important in a child's life. They really are. And I feel as if this country in particular, I can't speak on any other place around the world, but like I know this country in particular, they don't really provide the same type of energy to the men and the fathers that they do when it comes to the women. Like if you look at Mother's Day is like this big thing. Okay. The women, they get the flowers, they wear the big hats, they go to church, they going out to dinner, the mother gets showered with gifts. She could be a shitty mother.
Most of the time.
And it's still like we gotta still do something for her that's special. But when Father's Day comes around, most people don't even be remembering that it's Father's Day. Or they do the bare minimum, and God forbid that man is at odds with the mother. Most of the time, the mother don't even want the children to even acknowledge the fact that it's Father's Day, just because she don't get along with the father. But fathers are so important, especially when it comes to a girl, to a child, a girl. That's the first man that's gonna tell you how you should be treated by a man. That's the man who's gonna really breathe life into you and tell you that you're beautiful and you're special and you know what I mean. This is how a man is supposed to treat you. And that goes back to what we just talked about. A lot of these women ain't never had that. So they don't really know how to respect themselves or prepare themselves to be good partners to the opposite sex.
Yeah. You and I talked about this a little earlier in a sense, and I'm glad you brought that part up, because we're going to do another show based on the absent father or the fatherless of the women of the current day, how it's affecting the way they move in life and their circles and their relationships. And we get into that in another episode. I want to come back to the married part about it, because what I've noticed too, this tends to happen quite a bit. We talked about how it can get messy, and I say things go off rail. But a lot of times with the delusionalness that goes on, some want to have the grand idea that we need to bring a child into the situation.
Mm.
Now, no, there's the wife, the husband, and let's say the side piece, whatever. If he's not living up to what she thought he was coming out of the house quick enough, and she will basically bring a child into this triangle. I've seen it happen on many occasions. I dated a woman years ago, and when I first met her, she had a younger son, and she always referred to the father as a sperm donor.
Mm.
That's all he is, a sperm donor. So the first few times you hear it, you just listen and you don't pay any attention. And I said to her, why is he a sperm donor? Well, he doesn't do anything with him. All the hatred. Now, come to find out, this man is married.
Mm. So she had to keep a nigga baby.
Whew. She knew he was married. They dated for a period of time. And here's the kicker. Here's the caveat kicker. He said to her, my wife cannot have children. Once he spoke that to her, I'm sure that idea was born in her head. If I give him a child, unbeknown to him, he's going to leave her for me.
Mm-hmm.
He has no other choice but to leave her for me. I can do something she can't do. And that's what she did. But she didn't count on, or she didn't send in a memo, or he didn't get the email stating that I'm going to do this. And when I do, after 9 months, I expect you to leave her. Go through the court system, get divorced, do what you got to do, leave her and come to me. But when he chose not to, oh, he's just a sperm donor. He's this, he's that. An ironic thing, we talked about fences. And the woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ironic thing is his wife welcomed the son.
Well,
that made it even worse for her. That made it worse. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm going to say this. That made her, she hated him even more because now he'd have to leave. He didn't have to leave. He didn't have to come out. The wife, now, just think about this for a second. The wife realized, I can't have one. Did her husband go about the right way? Absolutely not. He wasn't trying to get her pregnant, but he didn't go about the right way. But guess what? That's a part of him. That's a part of him. I'm married to him. See, some don't realize she took her vows seriously. She took those vows regardless of what he did. Not saying what he did was right. And that's the thing. We want to look at marriage. No, marriage is a big responsibility. It's not about fucking white dress. It's not. It's much deeper than that. She took them damn vows seriously. When she stood there, when people was around her sniffling and wiping their damn eyes, she heard what the minister was saying. She realized God was there for her to be with him. But no, even though the hussy that our friend was, and I'm going to call it, I think she was a hussy. Because to me, if you step out and do something like that, intentionally, realistically, you get what you get. And the child get what it gets. So you can't tell me that child was made out of love. You can't tell me that. So don't expect love to come to that child. So when I say a lot of times, that's what happens. And then it's the blame on the man. You knew your legs was open, what you was trying to do. You knew what you was doing. Let's get real. Why bring a child into that situation? That's not making a wrong, right? It's not.
It's not. And it's very selfish. It's very selfish. It's selfish in the sense to where, you're bringing a child into a home that hasn't even been built. There's no foundation. The only foundation was physical attraction, and you want to bring a lifelong commitment into a situation with someone who may possibly not even stick around.
Yeah. They do it every day. They do it every day. You were on the last time and you said something. I'm gonna put that what we were talking about the rest for now, but you said something that just kind of basically had all the needles in the studio bouncing and going crazy. And I said, you know what? At some point, I want to go into this in detail. And the statement that you made is that pussy runs the world.
Yeah.
It just, and so I wanted to take a little time and explain that more in detail. For those that don't believe, or for those that do believe, just let's hear what it is.
Well, basically, I think what we're really talking about is just the power of sex, desire, and access, right? Like sex can absolutely influence people. But I think it's just that men use charm, money, attention, and in many cases emotional manipulation, right? And when it comes to women, depending on what we look like, we could really get anything that we want. We could say anything. We don't even have to say much, but people gonna pay attention. Beautiful women is a lot of the reasons why men used to get nice cars, why they get their hair cut, why they wear certain fragrances, why they dress a specific type of way. It's to catch the eye of a woman. And then if you look at our current, reality when it comes to this country, a lot of women like to say, I would say I call them feminists, like the feminists. They like to say, well, this is a patriarchy society, and I don't think so. I think that the women actually have a lot more pull nowadays in our current society than most men do. When you think of let's take it a little step further. The child support laws, right? Now, when Gerald Ford created the whole child support, the child support situation, it was to make sure, of course, that men who were not involved in their children's lives paid the price for those children, that they made sure that they took care of them. But like they took it a step further because of women. In the 90s, when Bill Clinton became president, Black women came and they said, hey, no, just getting money from these men is not enough. We want to make sure if they don't pay that we're going to lock their asses up, that we're going to suspend their licenses, that we're going to make sure that we give them hell if they do not pay. It doesn't even matter if, excuse the noise in the background, they're doing something downstairs.
Okay.
I
That's
apologize.
Okay. No problem.
They want to make sure that these men go through hell. If they are not able to provide for the child, never mind if the man don't have a job, that does not matter. You still got to do what's right. Then they took it a step further. Okay, let's say that we break up for a couple of years. So not only do I want child support, but I want arrears. I want money for every single time throughout the years that you did not take care of this child. And the court system could literally put in place a payment that needs to be made for years that they were not even there. It's the strangest thing. So the women have so much power. That's what I mean when I say pussy runs the world, because we have a lot more power than we actually try to make it seem as if we don't. We have a lot of power. We really do. Politically, spiritually, you got a lot of women out here who, we could heal a man or we could hurt a man with our spiritual practices. We could manipulate a man if sexually, depending on how you may intrigue this man. It's heavy. It's heavy, Mark. It's heavy.
You're right.
It's a lot of witches out here. It's a lot of witches. Men, if you're listening, it is a lot of women out here who are seriously witches. And they will hurt you if you're not careful.
Thank you for breaking that down. And you did it so nicely and truthfully and boldly. And I love it. I love that. I really do. Because we lose track. We really do. And as men, a lot of times we get caught up in the beauty and we don't see what's behind it. We just see the shape, the face, and we color everything else in, and got to realize Eve was probably a bad woman. Eve probably was banging, But guess what he's done or what she did? And we lose sight of that. So we basically think, okay, long as I can get that, long as I can have that sexually, we don't focus on anything else. And not understanding that, that's kind of a ploy. Not even kind of, it's kind of a ploy. If that's all you're seeking and that's all you see, and we don't even realize a lot of times what get played off of that. We don't. Now, and it popped in my head, so I'll run with it. Just like a lot of the guys that goes out of town or go out of the country to have relationships. And don't get me wrong, if that's your choice, that's your choice. But at the same point, that's pussy you're going to chase.
Mm-hmm.
But that pussy you're going to chase, she's going to treat you well. She's going to do everything because she realized the American woman ain't taking care of you. She don't live here, but she got the memo. She got
and
the
they
email.
rub it in our faces, Mark.
Yes. And so she's going to treat you well while you're there. But guess what, bud? Guess what? Time your flight's taking off, another flight's coming in.
Yep.
And she's been trained to do this to survive. So my point is, if you're doing that and you don't got no problem with that, but don't come back home and tell me you're in love with her.
Yeah.
Don't say that to me, because then I lose respect for you. And that's what they're buying into. That's the manipulation. That's the game. And a lot of it is game. So really, someone could say, no, it doesn't. It really does. To a big extent, it does run the world. There are men right now sitting in jail over pussy.
Man, yes. And many are in a grave.
Yes.
Like I have this thing to where I truly believe that women are better at being villains than men. We are way better at being villains than men. Many wars have been started because of women. Organizations have been ruined because of women. That's why they say we're supposed to be seen and not heard. And as a woman who is very vocal and not afraid to say what I want to say, I still know my place. I know that when there's a bunch of men in the room, I'm not trying to be there. Okay, when my man is spending time with his friends, his male friends or his cousins, I don't want to be in that room. There's no need for me to be here. And then when you think about Eve, that falls in line with the fact that we have to start consulting with our partners before we make certain decisions. Like there's certain decisions that I'm not going to make unless I talk to my mate first. Because if I sometimes just do it on my own, who knows what catastrophe could be following right after. That's the whole point of having a partner. And that balance is needed. You need the masculine energy as much as you need the feminine energy in order to create that balance. And once you have too much feminine energy, you're not able to be, it's not going to create anything but confusion and possibly chaos. It will create chaos because we need both sides. I don't know if you ever watched Game of Thrones. Perfect example. Once Cersei, the queen, got in position, all hell came down. Like I don't think that women, as much as I love being a woman, it's just it's certain things that I don't feel as if we need to be a part of. I don't trust a lot of women in leadership. In leadership positions. I'm sorry, I would not want a female as president because we can sometimes be emotional. We are emotional creatures, and all you got to do is come to a woman on the wrong day of the month, and it's over with. You're gonna be looking just like Dawn in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker when she was having cramps. Like it's just. We have to understand that like we need both sides, man, but we got to also let the man lead. And the biggest issue right now is because we don't allow men to lead. We think that they're not capable of leading. And because we got our degrees and we independent and we could do this and do that, now we want to take the role of our men and it's not working out in our favor, unfortunately.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Next time you talk to your mom, thank her for me because she did an awesome job raising you. Awesome job, really, raising you. So I can't thank her myself, but just thank her for me because just to listen to you, you got some of that, a lot of that came from her. whatever she gave you, you took it and you built on it. And when you speak, I hear it. And when you speak, I love the things you say because I don't hear it every day. There was a time when I heard it more, but it's like lost treasure. Like you're digging up in the sand. One of those things you go to the beach with, you used to have those things. You walk around the beach now, that thing never goes off.
Not at all. They done took everything out of it. They done already got it. They done already combed what they used to call it, a sand. What do they call it? A sand comber. They done combed through it and everything.
It's all gone. It's all gone.
But it really a lot of what I've learned. Honestly, it comes from my mom, but it also comes from experience and from listening. I listen. Wow. I'm a great listener.
Whoa.
And Erykah Badu, the great Erykah Badu, also said that was one of the great things about her is that she's good at listening. And I've always had more male friends than female friends, so I listen. And I urge women, single women out there, if you are looking for a relationship with a man, stop taking advice from single women. Whew. How is a single woman going to tell you what a man wants? No, you want to talk to the source. Listen to men, married men at that, because they're going to give you, and if you're going to listen to a woman, listen to a married woman. You know, I just don't, I listen to my man. I talk to him. And when he's telling me something, I listen. And I base my movements off of that. And I know that in order for me to be a good partner, listening more than talking is the best thing that you could do as a woman in a relationship. Listen more than talk. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. How can you listen if you talking over that man?
Wow.
Don't no man want no woman who talks so much. Shut up. Go cook some gravy from scratch and then you'll be all right.
Oh man, I'll put the lid on this one, Shatter. Oh, I can't even thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I just can't. I'm about to put some thank yous on layaway or something because I can't thank you enough. I just can't.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the next time we talk about the father a little more in depth. I am. I'm looking forward to that. And wow, man, you know, whew. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving us an ear. We appreciate that you take time out or whatever you're doing to just listen and pay attention. Can't say thank you enough for that either. You know, God loves you and I love you too. Take care of yourself. We'll get together real soon.